already playing on Friday.
You're asking Ron Strobel to change?
What?
You're asking Ron Strobel to change? He's unchangeable.
All right, watch this.
Hurry up and take your seat, please.
Oh, you got it. I'm sitting.
Are you doing the whole thing?
Am I what?
Are you the MC beside the sergeant of arms? Are you doing the meeting part? Or is that Father Joe?
I think I'd reach Jim's spirit, Jim Field.
Good morning, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Hudson. I'm Ron Strobel, the Sergeant at Arms. Our invocation this morning is by Phil Tobin.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today in our common mission of service above self, asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in our meaningful work. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, O Lord, as you make decisions that make the community we live in better. And continue to remind us all that what we do here today, all we accomplish is for the purpose of the truth and the greater glory of you and for the service to humanity. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Phil. And to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test, Ed Sogan.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And slowly the four-way test. There we go. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? I was just thinking yesterday that about Memorial Day, and our parade is on for this year. And I know that we'll have our Rotarians participating, but also, again, remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice to our country as we look at Memorial Day. I also thought about my dad and 13 uncles that served in the Second World War. So again, a lot of tradition with all of us and all of our families, and special thanks for our members that served in the armed forces. Thanks.
Thank you, Ed. Are there any guests, Chris? Okay. Before I turn this over, I need, speaking of the parade, I need two people to carry the banner in front of the truck. Catherine's son-in-law is going to be doing the carrying the flag. So I need two more volunteers. So, okay, if nobody volunteers, there won't be a banner in front of the truck because there's no place to put it. So,
I would, but I think I'm doing.
yep, right. I know. Okay, see me afterwards. And now our
also, Ron and everybody else, right now we have Coach, Jay Yard, and myself on June 4th at the pool cleanup. So we need more volunteers for the pool cleanup for the Boy Scouts. For a good cause, people.
I'll be there too. And now our president-elect, Father Joe Boysel.
Morning. Down here. Okay, good morning. So yeah, I'm pinch hitting for it's a really easy thing to get into, isn't it? For Patrick this morning. He left me with a quote to begin the day from Ernest Hemingway, wine is the most civilized thing in the world. Well, I'll give you the Ozzy Osbourne, wine is fine, but whiskey's quicker. So that must be from the Irish side of the world. That one was free. Didn't cost you any extra right there. We're going to start today with an update from Maryland about the auction. The gala.
Well, we can call it an auction as well, but I'll tell you one thing, we are going to be doing a raffle again. It was really wonderful to see the response that we got for trying something new. We did several things new this year, and I think for the most part, most of them worked out pretty well. But again, like a lot of things, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. But anyway, I would like to thank every member of our club for the wonderful response and the support that you gave to the gala committee. Let's move to the next slide, please. Look at that list of names. That is huge. When you come right down to it, we had 14, 15, 16 members all working on this. But there are a few people I'd like to single out. Let's start at the top. Joe Avila. Joe did all of the seating and did an incredible job. We had no rolls thrown from the Republican table to the Democratic table. Okay, everything really was very, very nice. Joe also went above and beyond as far as the registration was that night. So I was really appreciative for everything that Joe has done. Kelly Brennan and Chris Barker on the day of the event were the ones that prettied it all up. And it really was wonderful to have them come in and do what they did. And they were there, probably the last to leave when we were ready to quit the setup. Nikki Kowalski did the behind the scenes PR as well as creating a very innovative invitation, something very different than we've ever done before. Of course, Jim Lang is our super sponsor, the getter, and you'll see soon why our gala was the success that it was. Evan McCauley sitting behind the scenes, proofreading and working with both websites, our website, the GiveSmart website, making sure that they integrated well and that the information was where it needed to be. And the silent man, Bill McClure, who on the week of volunteered to pick up all of these supplies at the Scout headquarters and bring them forward. So it was really wonderful for Bill to step up in that way. He also took them back. Ron Strobel. Ron is our biggest salesman. And again, he came through for us even when he wasn't there. Ron was scheduled to be our MC. And of course, as you know, Patrick Shearer had surgery canceled that day, stepped in and did an incredible, incredible job. And then lastly, I'd like to call out Jay Yard for the wonderful things that he does in regard to marketing, because we get the word out and people show up. So thank you very much. Let's move to the next slide. This number made a difference. In total sponsorship receipts, we had 26,750. I don't think we've ever had that number before. Next slide, please. And here they are, our platinum sponsor, Colleague Giving, and Eric and Amy Tween. That's a $5,000 contribution each. It's trend. I know they are. It was right on the, well, I do have to fix that. I need an editor. I'm telling you, that's the number one thing that we're going to be talking about later. Gold sponsor was State Senator Christina Daly Rodner. Silver sponsors, 5 of them, including one that came in after the gala. They didn't even ask for a table for the Forehand Family Foundation. So see the list there. Akron Children's, First National Bank, Forehand Family Foundation, Patricia Getz, MD, and the Tobin family. Table sponsors, Callahan Carpet One, Bill and Marie Libby, one of our own Rotarians, filled the table. Hudson Chamber of Commerce, Hudson EMS Outreach, and Scout Troop 321 leadership. That was impressive. So let's go to the next slide and look at the metrics. We had 183 guests. Okay, wasn't a huge crowd, great responsive crowd. Live auction items, 9, raffle items, 4. That dinner for 12, for 12 months went for over $2,000. The first flight of the wine flight went for $790. The last time we had an auction, our wine flight went for $315. The first flight of bourbon went for $800, over $800, and the second one went for $500. So, I think we've hit on something sweet. And incidentally, we had a fine bottle of Gervasi brandy cask. Okay, we had only 6 unsold items. That's it. For the bottom line, our total receipts exceed $67,000, but take a look at what happens when you have 183 people come. Our expenses are significantly less. We're anticipating that we will clear right around $50,000 by the time we account for everything. So how about that? That's really what it's all about, is what do we bring back for our charitable giving next year so that we can start building back that rainy day fund. I also need to acknowledge that John and Sarah Adams brought to us late a beautiful, beautiful condo in Florida, unobstructed water views, and that all these things come together. They just really do. I wasn't so particularly hopeful about 6 weeks out, but I'll tell you at the beginning of last week, I got really excited, really excited. So thank you, Rotary Club of Hudson, for pulling together yet again to do something really terrific for our community. Thank you. Oh, and we have 6 items left for sale. They are all in the club room. If you have a rising senior, you're going to want to talk to me. I've got good stuff.
Thank you, Marilyn. Let's give her a special thanks by herself. Great job. I have a couple other announcements here. Today is the last day for collecting items for Head Start. So see Terry about getting your items to her for Head Start if you haven't done that yet. The Camp Manitowoc, as Rich mentioned, the cleaning the pool and the shower house is scheduled for June the 4th. Looks like work's going to start at 9 a.m. With a little breakfast. Is there caviar again this year? Usually there's caviar. So you'll want to be there. Light champagne, nothing heavy. I'm not sure how long. What time are you working till? Till noon? About noon? Okay. Okay. All right. Shrimp instead of the caviar. All right. On June the 29th, we have the changing of the guard dinner at the Blue Canyon. I want to say about 9 months ago, maybe, my wife says to me, Josh Groban is coming to Blossom. We have to go. And I was like, yeah, we do, I guess. She said, oh, and there's a lady at work. I want to take her. She's like, she loves Josh Groban, and I'm buying tickets. And I said, yeah, that's great. We'll go to Josh Groban. And she said, it's on June 29th. So plenty way out. We have nothing on the calendar. I'm right. We have nothing on the calendar. Thank you to whoever scheduled June 29th for me to go to the changing of the guard dinner. Nothing against Josh Groban. I'm just saying that, my wife goes there alone. She won't be with me at the changing of the guard dinner. So if you want to go to that, though, you need to sign up online, go to our website and click the link there. Service learning. I'm trying to read this here. 25-year reunion Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30. Anybody know any more about that? Because I only have like a little sketch here. She will not be back. Okay. So Lonnie will not be here, but there is a reunion. And is that this Thursday? Tomorrow? Because there's no date down here, so I'm guessing it means tomorrow. So if you're part of that and want to be there, you'll know the details, or you'll contact, maybe look at the website. I don't know where this information, so I just got this the last minute. All right. With that, I think Jim's going to introduce our speaker, right? Yes? Yeah, come on. Who's my sub?
For Josh. Who's subbing for you?
Oh,
That'll be a fun time. Hey, well, welcome or good morning, Rotarians. To conclude our summer fun theme in May, we have a very special guest today from Gervasi Vineyard, Scott Swaldo, right? Scott is the general manager and owner, along with his family, of Gervasi Vineyard. He is responsible for the overall operation of Gervasi Vineyard, including the offsite restaurant, the Twisted Olive. Scott, along with his family, started Gervasi Vineyard in 2010, and Scott's been an integral part of the vision and the development of this 55-acre destination winery estate since its beginning. Prior to Gervasi Vineyard, Scott was the executive vice president of operations for ASC Industries, the world leader in aftermarket water pump manufacturing, where he was responsible for HR, purchasing, and manufacturing. Scott has his bachelor's degree from University of Akron and master's degree from Northern Arizona University. He's very active in the community. He has 39 years involvement in the Blue Coats Drum and Bugle Corps in Canton. He's been the board president for the last 9 years. In 2016, he co-chaired the Greater Stark County United Way campaign and is a past board member. And in 2017 and 18, he chaired the Visit Canyon Convention and Visitors Bureau board, current board member. In 2017, he's the advisory board of the University of Akron Hospitality Management Program. So please give a warm Rotary welcome to Scott Swaldo.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. First, I want to say thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I believe I did a presentation several years ago with the Hudson Rotary. Yeah, I can see some heads nodding, so hopefully I'm not too repetitive. And but our story has changed a little bit. So I really do appreciate the opportunity to talk about our business and talk about summer fun, which is the focus of today. You know, I don't get a chance to get out of the office sometimes and kind of share a story, so it's exciting for me as well. So Gervasi Vineyard Destinations is the name we kind of operate under. That really encompasses what we become as a destination. We started out as a little winery with a really small concept, and we've evolved into a destination for the region, really even parts, a large region, meaning the eastern half of the United States, and including the Twisted Olive with an offsite location. Do I just have to, next slide? Is that what I? Okay, this next slide. So a little bit about our story. You heard in my introduction that my background and my family's background is in automotive water pumps. So how does that turn into a winery? Yeah, like, and one of the things that people are amazed, that's right, water into wine. I like that. One of the things that I think people are always kind of surprised by is my family has zero experience in hospitality and winemaking and restaurants and hotels. So how do you build what's become a highly respected and leading tourist destination focused on all of those things? My dad had built ASC into the world's leading aftermarket water pump company. I got good fortune of joining the company for the last 8 years before he sold it. And like often happens with successful businesses, he decided there was a time where it was the right time to exit that and kind of semi-retire and sell the business. And I thought I would just stay there for the rest of my career because my brother-in-law was the president, I was the number 2, and we would just run the business with the new owners. Well, that didn't work out quite that way, which often happens. And my dad was bored out of his mind immediately. being retired. And after, he always tells a story, I think he went to Florida and golf for a few weeks and he said, this is not for me. I got to find something to do. So he came back and he decided to just find a project. And the project was a farm, a 55-acre farm in Canton. It's the last farm actually in the city limits of Canton. And a friend of a friend owned it, kind of thing, and they were going to be selling it. And he thought, well, I'll buy it. I'll tinker with the barn. I'll restore this barn that's ready to collapse. And we'll put some go-kart track in and some four-wheelers, and we'll just have some fun as a family. And that'll be my retirement project. And that's honestly when he bought the property, that's where his head was at. And that's really what it was all about. We did see that the property had some great bones. It had a creek running through it, a spring-fed lake. The barn, while in horrible condition, was restorable. There was a farmhouse, another farm building, and then just open land, and it was very scenic. Not in good condition, but you could tell that, again, it had good bones. So within a month or two, again, the same friend that had the contact for the property said, I always thought this would be a cool winery. It was a tree farm. I forgot to mention that. So on the front part of the property were trees that were, the previous owners had, you could come there and have a tree transplanted and take into your home. So we said, I always thought that could be the vineyard. The barn could become a little tasting room. It could be, a fun little project. So my dad loved that idea. He loved the idea of something our family could do together. Wineries are one of the oldest industries in the world. And they're very generational. Sometimes they're in families for hundreds of years. And he thought that would be kind of cool thing for us to do, something different. And that's literally as simple as the concept was. So within a few months, we were building a winery. But again, it was a little going to be like have some, trail bologna, those of you know what that is, and cheese plates, and serve a little wine and have a little tasting room. And that was it. Maybe a little gift shop. As we started developing the project and we started seeing how special the barn could be and how beautiful it could be, we started thinking, well, maybe we should have a little more food than that. Maybe we should, have some pizzas. Oh, you need some entrees. What about some salads? So pretty soon we realized we were building a restaurant. So literally, Gervasi it's been happening. It has been one of those things that the ideas keep coming. We were fortunate enough to do it as a family and not have to satisfy investors or a bank or anybody. So we could just do whatever we wanted to do. And as we were under construction, we literally started growing the concept. So in 2010, just 1 year, believe it or not, 1 year after we purchased the property, we broke ground, we opened as a winery with a vineyard, with a tasting area, with a small restaurant, with a small gift shop. And over that first year, things just exploded. The interest was beyond anything we could have imagined. We opened an outdoor patio. During construction, people approached us and said, hey, can I get married here? Like, what do you mean? It's a construction site. Wedding, how can you even imagine doing that? But people saw the beauty, the potential of the property. I could put a tent up by the lake. Can I just get married out there? So pretty soon we decided, let's build a pavilion and let's get in the wedding business. So literally these things kept happening. I mean, many of the things happened in the first year or two. And of course, as soon as we added the pavilion and started doing weddings, people said, well, it'd be great to be able to stay here overnight. So then all of a sudden we're building an inn, we're building a boutique inn. So as we go through the presentation, you'll see the different components of Gervasi, but that's really how it began. And we really have prided ourselves in listening to the public, being receptive to their ideas. What do they want from us? We always say, if you listen to your customers, they will tell you what they want and what they don't like. And if you listen, it will really guide you. And you have to have vision and those kind of things too, to kind of, collaborate with that. But we've tried to add pieces that not only meet the needs and interests of the public, but also are complementary to one another. As we add a piece, it needs to complement something we already have. So when we added, for example, the hotel, we added an event center because the demand for private dinners, for corporate groups to come in and have meetings was off the charts. We had one little room in the restaurant that could satisfy that, the original barn bistro, and we realized we needed to have more spaces like that. So we said, okay, while we're building a little hotel, let's build some meeting space and a place to have indoor events. And so that's how those things evolve. So that's our story. And as we go through this, you'll kind of see how things evolve. Next slide, please. So this is, it's a 55-acre property, and upper right there is the entry. I don't have a pointer, so just have to follow with me here. Upper right there, we have the original bistro, the farmhouse, the marketplace. That's kind of where everything began. As you looked at the bottom of the screen, you have the pavilion out there by the lake. You'll get to see details of this. We built what we call the whole village, the villas, the Villa Grande, which is the event center, and also a large commercial kitchen that really supports the entire operation. That was an important thing to add. We quickly outgrew the winery, which was in the lower level of the bistro. So we added the crush house, which is our winery, and a whole nother restaurant, because the bistro evolved into an upscale rustic Italian restaurant. That wasn't our intent, but that's where the public wanted it. They wanted it to be that special celebration place, that place you go for a special anniversary. And I want a $50 dinner, not a $20 dinner. And so that kind of took it to a higher level. We said the crush house, we're going to kind of go back to that more casual cafe. So we kind of inserted that to meet that need. Then on the left side there, the still house, which is a distillery and a welcome center and a coffee house, which we'll talk about, got added, and the Casa. And we actually have a new project, I'll show you at the end, which broke ground a few weeks ago, which is in the upper left where that compass or the north-south thing is there. That's actually the last piece of the property that we're developing. So next slide. So back to summer fun, and some of the things we're going to focus on is one of the things that we have to offer is what I would say is Northeast Ohio's most beautiful outdoor dining option. It's not next to a parking lot. It's not next to a road. It's behind the original barn there you see. It's absolutely beautiful. The part closest to the barn is the original part we just added a year ago. And actually the pandemic's been a horrible thing, but sometimes good things come from terrible things. And one of the things it forced us to do, and when we were able to reopen after being closed, was think about ways to expand our outdoor dining, which people really wanted and expected from us. And we had to offer, but we didn't have enough of it. So that whole lower half of the patio got added a year ago. The previous year, we kind of just did it on the grass with expanded tables and chairs. So there were a lot of outdoor dining options. We put in a stage, we put in a permanent bar. We have the bocce courts on the left and expanded that patio. So we really have made a spectacular outdoor dining space. We expanded the menu. We've actually the other thing the pandemic did is we went from counter ordering to, at the time when we could reopen, that would have created congestion. You couldn't socially distance. So we were forced to go to full service and spread everything out, which was very demanding from an operational standpoint, but it was the right thing to do to make it all work and keep everybody safe. So we now are in a full service model, and if we have time at the end, I can share with you that we also, to staff that properly, because staffing is such a challenge right now, we are bringing in international workers, H-2B visa workers. I just met with a group of them yesterday. Some of them actually start working today because we need to staff this seasonal outlet from May to October, and we can't get enough local staff to do it. So now we've had to get really creative in how to staff it long term. So that's the piazza. There's live music on that stage. On the left side here, you see the menu. More casual, brick-fired pizzas, sandwiches, some pasta bowls. Since we added the distillery, actually by building the permanent bar, we were able to expand to full service cocktails. And on the right side there, you see just another view of it. It's really absolutely beautiful. It's got the lake view, and it's just probably one of the most special places, beautiful lighting, torches that come on at night, and really kind of a signature place that people come to Gervasi during the summer. All right, next slide, please. The Crush House was the winery. So this is another experience that you can have on the property. Two things there. We have the upper outdoor balcony, so there's more outdoor seating, which is covered, so it works on a rainy day as well as a hot day. We need some additional shade. Again, more casual menu. Next slide, please. So left side here, we do have entrees, but there's kind of a range of salads and sandwiches, pastas, and some higher end entrees, again, the public wanted from us. It has on the right side there, you see the tasting bar. So one of the things that kind of got lost as the bistro and everything took off is it became more of a restaurant and less of a tasting bar. So we wanted to kind of fix that and recapture that opportunity to have that tasting experience. So that whole lower level bar that wraps through there seats about, I think it seats about 25 people, is a wine tasting bar. And then there's 2 levels to the restaurant. So it's the other thing we do there is we give winery tours on Saturdays. There's a ticketed tour. You can purchase a ticket, have a really special tour of the winery, which is connected right to the space. And then it finishes with a food and wine pairing experience. So it's really special. It sells out every Saturday. People love it. And at the end, you're going to see we're going to be expanding that kind of thing. So that's a thing that's really popular during the summer as well. Next slide. The Still House that started in December of 18. So as we were growing, we realized the hotel guests were looking for more things to do on property. We were needing more daytime options and maybe something for hotel guests later at night. So we decided two things this building does. The back half of it is an operational distillery, making our own vodkas, gins, and bourbons, and specialty liqueurs. The front half of it is a cocktail lounge, essentially was the original concept. So we have live music in there. It's a place to hang out on the property before or after dinner, to really have a special experience. One of the things that I like to tell the story about this is how did the coffee part get into it? And our employees didn't even really know that this project was under development. And three of our staff approached my dad and I and said, boy, we thought Gervasi should have a coffee house. We really think it would be a great thing. We think there's a lot of reasons why that would work well. And my dad turned around and challenged them. He said, okay, I'll tell you what, put together a business plan, a presentation, and I'll listen. He just, put that out there to them. And guess what? They did it on their own time. They came back with an elaborate presentation, PowerPoint. They had sample products. They did some market studies. These were not like high-level managers. These were people in just different parts of the operation. One of them wasn't a manager at all. And it was really impressive. And we kind of stepped back and thought, you know what? We're going to build this beautiful building. It's going to sit empty during the day. We're not going to serve, we're going to have a cocktail lounge at 10 o'clock in the morning, right? So we decided to merge these concepts, and we found an importer, coffee importer in Cleveland, to kind of do a custom blend, and we got into the coffee business. So we now have in all of our restaurants, we have our own coffee, and this is like a really special coffee house again during the day, and we sell the products for retail. So I love telling that story because it was really our employees who made that happen. That was really their idea and their concept that came forward. You see this kind of looks like a church. Quick story on that is Gervasi's turned into like an Italian village. That was our concept. If you've ever been to Italy, every tiny little town in Italy has an amazing chapel or church in the middle of the town where everyone gathers as sort of the centerpiece. And we thought, that would be a cool way to incorporate, some kind of artistic architectural style to this facility. We've actually done some playful things with the products and the spaces and how we play off the kind of church theme in a very, respectful way. And this church is modeled off the church in Deno, Italy, where my grandmother was baptized. And church is built in 1542. That's still an active church in Deno, Italy, which, by the way, is called St. Gervasio. It was named after a family member. We don't know the exact details of that story. So that steeple and that spire are actually very reminiscent of that church. So we're really proud of this. It's actually my favorite thing we've ever done. I think it's really special, and I love the story behind it. So next slide, please. This is kind of shows the interior. It feels like a church. It's really beautiful inside. And on the right, we have some light breakfast fare, as well as this kind of bar food, if you will, a little snack food to go along with really amazing craft cocktails, of course, our wines and spirits and coffee, whenever people want that. All right, next slide, please. So this is the original facility. So this is where it all began. It was the barn that was from 1823 that was near collapse, but it was salvageable. So we hired this amazing Amish company to come in and salvage the structure, lift the whole thing up using pulleys. It was amazing to see, put a new foundation on it. Sits 1.5 feet higher than it used to give us some headspace for tanks in the bottom. But this is now the more rustic Italian restaurant, and the piazza sits right behind it. So people are looking for a special dinner. This is the one that takes reservations. So that's a year-round. By the way, everything I'm talking about is open year-round except for the piazza. But obviously this is also really popular to make part of a summer stay would be to experience this beautiful restaurant. Next slide. More upscale fare, but kind of rustic Italian food, and then there's some more casual seating areas, and then some more. It kind of feels like a Tuscan farmhouse inside, like a kitchen farmhouse. Lots of beautiful wood and big windows overlooking the property. All right, next slide. So then we mentioned the Twisted Olive. So again, our story is kind of about opportunity presenting itself and listening. We had no desire to have something off-site. That was never on our radar. But there was a news story that in the city of Greene, there was a group who was buying the old Belden Lodge, which was a 16,000 square foot home, and they were going to turn it into a winery, a restaurant, a wedding facility. I mean, it was like reading Italian themed. You know, it was a copycat concept, and we were flattered and challenged at the same time. And it was going to be in our backyard, and the deal fell through because they realized it was going to take $1 million just to get access to the property before you even touch the building, and they didn't have those kind of finances. So, long story short, we heard about it. My dad said, "I got to go look at that. I want to," because we didn't even know the property existed. It was kind of hidden in the woods, like nobody even knew it was there. And he called me from it. He's like, "We got to buy this. This has got Gervasi written all over it. It's in the middle of 220 acres of parklands. It's federally protected. It's beautiful. You know, we were building the crush house at the time. We're going to have more wine capacity, you know, that we can sell on site. So this gives us another opportunity to make use of that investment." And that's how the Twisted Olive was born. So it is literally a 16,000 square foot home that has been converted into a restaurant. And the connection to summer fun, besides just another dining place, is it has a beautiful deck off the back, 2 stories, upper and lower, the lower part, of course, being covered. So if we have inclement weather, it's always open. And it overlooks ponds, beautiful views. You can go on the walking trails through the park system of the city of Green owns. So it's kind of surrounded, property we own is surrounded by the park. It's really special. Next slide, please. And you can see the front of it there. And then it's Italian American kitchen. So it's a fusion of kind of Italian and American dishes, anywhere from a pizza up to, you know, a filet, quite a range of options. It's a very large restaurant, lots of private dining rooms. We do lots of private events there. Seats 330 inside, which is huge for a restaurant, and about 170 outside. So it's a big place, but it's really special. It's about, you know, right on the backside of the Akron-Canton Airport on Route 241. All right, summer events. So we put in our new barrel wall last year. One of the things we try to do is create a lot of photo ops, not only because people enjoy them and they're beautiful, but guess what do people do with photos? They post them on social media with your name. So it's like free marketing. So we create all kinds of beautiful photo opportunities around the property, some of them with our brand inserted into them, and people, you know, on their own just embrace them and share those pictures, and they're just showing themselves having a wonderful time, and it's a great way to advertise. So we added this last year. All right, so we have some summer concert series. We have 6 concerts. Actually, the first one's tomorrow night. It's the Rat Pack. It's a group out of Cleveland that does like a Rat Pack impersonation. They're awesome. They've been coming for, I think, 8 or 9 years. They actually have another concert in September. We have Helen Welsh, if you know her. She's an accomplished singer out of Cleveland, sings with the Cleveland Orchestra. We have 2-time Grammy winner Marla Rosado, Latin jazz, in a few weeks. Bob James, also a Grammy Award winner. And then we have an Italian themed group coming that does Italian folk music. So a real variety of things. And what's great about it is we time these where you can go visit one of the restaurants and then finish your evening at the concert, and we serve dessert and, you know, a glass of wine. So it's just makes for a really special evening. We have live music year round in the Still House. So Wednesday through Sunday nights, we have live music in the Still House always. And we also have live music on the piazza, on that outdoor patio we showed you first, Tuesday through Sunday. So we have sometimes, you know, 5 nights a week, we have 2 places on property with live music. That's pretty unique. So if you don't like one music, go to the other location. And what's cool too is you can really see is all of these facilities on the property are connected with beautiful walking paths. And our liquor license allows you to stroll around the grounds with a glass of wine or a cocktail or beer or whatever you have in your hand. So that's really unique to be able to really just have, or you don't drink a glass of water, whatever you want. It's just really special to stroll the grounds and kind of take it all in. We do cruise-ins June through September on Wednesdays. So we invite clubs, different car clubs. This is the Corvette Club, comes in June usually. All cars are welcome, all types every week, but we have kind of a featured one, which is kind of fun, people that are interested in that car. And of course, many people come just to see the cars and then enjoy the property. So it makes for a really fun, it's a really popular night. And as long as it doesn't rain. We have yoga classes. each month in the pavilion. So just, you've got the lake on one side, the vineyard behind you, open air. It's really a special place to do yoga. We have on Tuesdays in the piazza, pups are allowed, dogs are allowed. So we kind of feature it that one day a week. So it's really, very popular as well, because they're, even though the laws now in Ohio do allow this, only maybe for 3 years, a lot of places still don't really do it yet. So we're one of the unique places that you can do that. The Twisted Olive has it every day on the lower patio, so it's always available there if you're a dog lover. We have our pavilion wine pairing dinners. So we do these really high-end 5-course special meals with the wine steward, kind of going through each pairing, talking about it a little bit, letting you enjoy a really special experience. We have one of those in June, another in August. We also have other wine and food pairing experiences. These are more like, these are not dinners. These would be like 45 minutes to an hour. So you could do something else on property and either start with this or finish. So it'd be like 4 wines and 4 small bites in the theme. We have sparkling soiree. We have, go back one second, I forget. We have the sips and dips, Island Fever. So these are out in the pavilion, open air. So again, it's a beautiful summer experience. And then you can stroll the grounds and enjoy the rest of the property. We have one with spirits. We're partnering with Pav's Creamery out of Portage Lakes. And we're doing actually ice cream and gelato pair really well with liquors. There's some really cool things you can do with that. So if you've ever taken a shot of limoncello or something like that and poured over ice cream, you've got a magical dessert. And we have a blueberry liqueur that we make that is actually a very unique product. It's not something you'll find on the market. Blueberry farm in Canton that we buy 100% of the blueberries from. And we make this delicious product. It works by itself as a standalone, but poured over ice cream or a lemon sorbet, and you've got an amazing dessert. And so accommodations. So of course, another thing to do, again, available year round, but if you're looking for a little summer getaway, some summer fun, we have our villas. Excuse me, the farmhouses first. So the original farmhouse from 1830 has been completely restored and is an overnight option. It sleeps about 6 to 8, has a full kitchen, beautiful dining room, has an amazing view of the lake. It's right next to the piazza, so that's very popular. You can also have private chef services in there. The villas are the original hotel that was built in 2011. So only a year and a half after we opened, we added the 24 rooms there. So there's 6 4-bedroom villas. You can rent an entire villa, which is a wonderful experience if you have a group or your family wants to get together. I have some friends from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and their family, the other half of their families in Chicago, and they come every year, 1 or 2 times a year, and they use Canton, Ohio as their meeting place and rent a villa, and they call it wine camp, by the way, which I think I got to market that because I love that idea. Kind of a fancy wine camp, but you can also just stay in individual suites. You don't have to rent the entire villa. So it's sort of like a mini B&B where you have your own private suite. You share the little common area, which is like a lobby. The Casa, excuse me, was opened in March of 2019. So just a year before the pandemic. We realized that we were sort of in the resort, world, but we only had 24 rooms in the farmhouse. And we really it was just sold out all the time. And weddings which is a great problem to have, but we needed more capacity. So we added 24 more rooms in a little different style, different aesthetic style, the mission kind of architecture, but also all individual suites. So someone doesn't want to be in a mixed environment and they want their own private suite with their own private veranda with beautiful views of a courtyard, they can get that here. And it's been immensely popular. And even when the pandemic happened, of course, no one did anything initially, but when we reopened, the stay vacation was alive and well. And we were one of those places people sought out because they trusted us in terms of our protocols and how we're keeping people safe, but we're also in the backyard. They can drive, they didn't have to fly. So it's really been really taken off and been a great addition to our business. We just expanded our gift shop, the marketplace. It just opened a few weeks ago. We doubled the amount of space. And we just really had outgrown the previous space. And as we added more wines and more spirits and all these products, they really weren't being featured properly. Next slide. So we built a beautiful display area so we could properly feature all of our products, expand into more of the gift items that people are looking for. So it's I think the marketplace literally just again opened in 3 weeks ago, is becoming its own little destination for shoppers who just want to find that special gift item for somebody or for themselves. And they might just come just to see the store. So we're growing again. People always say, what's next? Because by the way, all this happened, everything we just seen happened in about 10 years. So in 10 years, we built all of that. And each year there was some major project. We kind of paused for a year or two. And people always ask us what's next. So what's next is this. We are building a luxury spa. This is underway. It broke ground about a month ago. On the front of that, the left is a cave. So one of the things, again, that's interesting story here is, yeah, we're adding a spa in the cave, but really the driver of this project is warehouse space. We had completely outgrown all of our finished goods and our bourbon barrel aging and our wine barrel aging spaces. We were busting at the seams. We had to go to an offsite warehouse for some products. And it's really difficult to send barrels offsite. Not only legally is it challenging, but like you need to do, barrels just don't sit. You tend to them, you test them, you do things to them, both bourbon and wine. And having an offsite doesn't really work. So that was the driver. And then we said, well, if we're going to be building a new warehouse, how do we add an experience to it, which is the cave. The wine tasting bar at the Crush House does well, but it also still is a restaurant. And if you go to a winery in California or Europe, a traditional tasting room is only about the wine. You go in and there's someone who just leads you through an amazing wine tasting experience, and then you move on to somewhere else. And so we are going to build an underground tasting room that's connected to the wine barrel aging. So you'll be able to see, which is cool to see. It's beautiful. And there's a lot of educational things we can teach people and show them about barrel aging. And what a barrel's like, they like humidity and cool temperature. So put it underground. That's why you do it. On top of that, we were going to put the rick house, which is a term for bourbon aging. But for safety reasons and there's a lot of flammability and issues, and the insurance company said, we're not going to insure that if you're putting people in that building. So we're building a separate building not shown here off to the back for the barrel aging. So we said, well, what can we do to make use of the upstairs of the building? And the number one request, again, listening to your customers for hotel guests and locals, is you guys should have a spa. We would love to come here and stay 2 or 3 days and do all the things you have, but I want some luxury spa experiences. So we're building a state-of-the-art spa. We're working with a designer out of Chicago, Michelle Palafis, who designs thousands of spas and does it really well. So we're really excited about this project. It'll open next year. So that's just kind of the spa lobby entrance, kind of giving you a sense of the style of it. Manicure, pedicure, those are pedicure chairs. So we're going to do some really upscale, beautiful, just kind of pamper people and have a glass of sparkling wine and some chocolate covered strawberries while you're getting some spa services. There's the cave, just sort of a rendering of that. So it'll be all stone. We'll do some video presentations kind of hidden behind those doors. We'll really make it a special experience, show people the cave. Again, they can go onto the property and then do something else. So that's my story. What kind of question? Oh, thank you. Am I on time? It's always hard to, I think I did okay. Am I over? What kind of questions can I answer?
First of all, my wife and I have been out there several times. It's just amazing the organic growth of your property. And it's always a pleasure to go to. You might want to think about a transportation service for those that aren't staying. If it's organically growing, after enjoying all the fruits of the vines, it's like, man, I got to get a driver now or something.
We have heard that before. I think it's something.
There's always Uber or this beautiful place to stay too. So I just wanted to say it's really, really cool what you guys are doing out there. And I thought it was especially nice the way you coordinated the use of the bus for the facility here for a tour and tasting right after your presentation. So thank you for doing that too.
Yeah. A little pressure there. Well, I appreciate your comment. One of the things that I've enjoyed a lot of things about this, but the thing is the joy of my life. I can't believe this is my job. But the thing I really enjoy is using that creative mind, listening, like, how can we take this piece of property or this experience and make it better, make it fit what people want, fill a gap, complement something else. And so the organic comment means a lot to me because that's really what it's been. I wish I could tell you we're smart enough to have a master plan. And, I could show you that we planned this all along, but I'd be lying. We didn't plan any of this. It happened as it happened, literally.
So you broke ground in 2011?
No, we broke ground in March of 2009 and
Nine.
opened in March of 2010.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I do remember, I think when you came and spoke to us, it must have been 5-6 years ago or something.
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
so.
And I think most of us hadn't even heard of, it may even be before that, but most of us had never even heard of Gervasi. It was just like, wow, this is in our backyard. We were
Yeah.
blown away to hear about where you were at that point. Now to see, and I think many of us have been to visit now and, and seen, wow, this sounded too good to be true. And it's there. And to see what else you've added over time. I credit to your family. It's amazing what you've been
Thank
able
you.
to accomplish there. It really is quite an asset for Northeast Ohio.
Thank you. I think when we added the distillery, the coffee house and that kind of gathering place and the casa, it kind of catapulted us into this unique regional resort. We literally get people coming from Chicago, New York, to Canton, Ohio. And people always say, well, why would you build this in Canton, Ohio? And we always say, well, why not? Why can't we have nice things here? Why can't we have special luxury things here? We don't have to always travel somewhere else to have something special. And I think this last edition really helped get us into a new category. Yes.
I have been in your marketplace and it is incredible.
Thank
The
you.
gift offerings you have, everything from purses to silver items, jewelry,
Yeah.
other things are really, really wonderful. I'd like to also congratulate you on thinking outside the box in relationship to the relationship you have with things like Ohio Ballet.
Yes.
I've seen that kind of offering there. What other venues are you going after? Shakespeare, classic music? Where else are you going?
We've worked with the Cleveland Ballet, as you mentioned. They were just here, I think a week or two ago. Actually, that was a unique, again, the pandemic. They reached out to us. They were not allowed to perform indoors for like a year and a half, I think. So they were looking for an outdoor venue. They heard about us, and that's how the relationship started. So we've kept that. So that's great. We also work with the Canton Orchestra Symphony, and we have I think 3 performances planned this summer with them. We also do some year-round indoors. We haven't theater. The challenge we face is the wedding demand is so high that the facility is not that available, and it's basically not available at all on the weekends. So we have to find things that can be done in one evening. Like a big production needs a lot of setup. We did explore some theater opportunities, but they often need like several days or a weekend. We just don't have it available on the calendar. So we'll continue to look at. We've supported some dance groups, some local organizations that looking for a performance venue, and we let them perform for free. And of course, we're looking for people to just come enjoy the property. So it's a win-win.
The other comment I want to make is that if I look for a comparable facility of the quality of what you have, I'm looking at the Biltmore.
Oh, well,
So
that's a
thank you very
compliment.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Just a quick question. With your speed of your growth, it's got to get some attention on some maybe investors and folks somewhere around the country that have similar 40, 60 acre properties.
Mhm.
And have you been approached?
Well, we get approached all the time about buying properties or creating a Gervasi somewhere else, or taking their existing business and converting it into part of our operation. We've really resisted that because it's not our goal to be bigger and bigger and bigger. That's just never been on the radar. It's about making what we have really special. Again, having things complement one another, maximizing the investment that we've already made. A lot of times when things grow, like chain restaurants, for example, you see a local group and they keep adding restaurants locally. A lot of times those start to go down. They start to suffer quality. They kind of grow too fast. We don't want that to be us. So we haven't had anyone approach us about buying us. I get email, kind of spam type emails all the time, but no one's seriously approached us, and we're not interested in that anyway. We're hoping, again, back to the legacy thing. I don't have children, but my sister does. And one of my sister's kids now is a manager at one of the restaurants. So we're hoping that the kids are going to want to take over, and that would be the best thing of all for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me give just a little personal testimonial. Yes. We have brochures to hand out. Okay, great. You'll want to pick one of these up. My first experience was having some pizza and wine on the piazza, and then I officiated a wedding and stayed in the villa. We went over to the Crush House that night, and then the Still House. My wife and I go down there on a Sunday night, live music, and it combines two of the things that I really love, which is sacred architecture and bourbon whiskey. Oh man, it was wonderful. So yeah, if you haven't been there, you gotta go. It's really fantastic. So thank you for coming. All right, Scott, we're gonna put you to work though, and do the rotobuck here. So if you'd come and just reach in and pick one of these out. Okay. And the winning number here is, bear with me, 717721. 721. No winners?
3, 2, 1. Next.
Oh. Did somebody leave? Is it, you got it? We'll just say it's yours. Payout today is $12 too. Take a priest to lunch day. I don't know if you heard that. It's like one of the national calendar things. It is. You know, it's funny you say that, Tom. It is Take a Priest to Lunch month. You want to go down to Gervasi? We could have some pizza and some bourbon. The big one, you're in. All right. You want to see the black one in there? See it? Oh, it's in there.
Oh, yeah.
It's no longer in the same spot.
Of course not.
Oh, so close, so far away. Oh, where did I had it? I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. So make sure that gets to the proper place. And Patrick left me with a joke. Let's see what do I own? Yeah. Let me just tell you, first of all, I was in Louisville, Kentucky over the weekend, and I was driving one of those little electric scooters. There it is. Well, this one, not a bourbon connection, but I wrecked on it. I went head over heels on a street going like 15 miles an hour. And I'm on my way to see an orthopedic surgeon after I leave here. So your prayers for the priest with a broken shoulder. Don't touch me on my left shoulder, please. All right. What do you call a wine hangover? The Grape Depression.